What does it truly mean to live a better life? Is it about wealth, success, or constant happiness? Or is there something more profound, something deeper? Imagine a life where no matter what challenges or chaos surround you, you remain steady, calm, and in control. This is the promise of Stoic philosophy, a timeless guide that has been shaping lives for over 2,000 years. In this video, we'll explore 50 powerful Stoic rules that can help you transform your mindset and navigate life with resilience, clarity, and purpose. These principles, rooted in wisdom, are more relevant than ever in today's hectic world. Whether you're struggling with stress, searching for balance, or simply trying to make sense of daily challenges, Stoicism offers practical tools to help you focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. Stay with us as we dive into these life-changing rules, a roadmap to turning obstacles into opportunities and achieving a life of fulfillment. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with insights that can empower you to not just live but thrive, no matter what life throws your way. Now turning to the very foundation of Stoic philosophy, the first rule is to live according to nature. This is not about living in the wilderness or rejecting modern conveniences, but rather aligning your life with the natural order of the universe and embracing the reality of how things are. At its core, this means understanding that life operates within a framework of cause and effect, and our role is to act in harmony with this flow rather than resist it. This principle pushes us to focus on what we can control: our actions, choices, and mindset, while gracefully accepting what lies beyond our influence. Imagine you're caught in a rainstorm. You cannot stop the rain from falling, but you can choose to carry an umbrella or simply let yourself get wet without frustration. This rule teaches that our peace depends not on changing the world around us, but on adjusting how we respond to it. By living in alignment with nature, we learn to accept life as it unfolds, finding wisdom and strength in working with the currents of life rather than battling against them. Moving forward, the second rule is to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. This is one of the most empowering principles of Stoic philosophy because it shifts our focus to where our energy truly matters. At its heart, this means understanding that while we cannot dictate events, we can always decide how we interpret and respond to them. Consider an example. You cannot control how others perceive or judge you, but you can control the effort you put into being honest and kind. You cannot control the outcome of a project, but you can control the dedication and precision you bring to your work. By focusing solely on our actions, thoughts, and attitudes, the things within our sphere of control, we free ourselves from the stress and frustration of attempting to manage what is ultimately beyond us. Imagine trying to calm a storm by yelling at the wind. It's both futile and exhausting. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to redirect that energy towards steering our own ship through the storm's waves. When we let go of worrying about external factors such as others' opinions, the behavior of colleagues, or even the unpredictable twists of life, we gain clarity and peace. This rule is about reclaiming your power by anchoring your attention on what you can influence. By practicing this, you reduce unnecessary anxiety and build resilience, enabling you to move forward with confidence no matter what life throws your way. With the next phase of the journey in sight, the third rule invites us to practice negative visualization. This Stoic exercise might seem counterintuitive at first, but it is deeply transformative. Negative visualization is the act of calmly imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen. Why, you might ask, would anyone deliberately picture things going wrong? The answer lies in preparation and gratitude. By visualizing potential setbacks, we mentally rehearse how to face them with strength and composure. This practice builds resilience as we become less surprised and more equipped to handle life's unpredictability. Imagine losing something you deeply value: a job, a relationship, or even a prized possession. By contemplating such a loss beforehand, you not only reduce the shock if it ever occurs, but also cultivate a newfound appreciation for having it now. For instance, think about the comforts you enjoy daily, like the roof over your head or the health you may take for granted. Envisioning life without these blessings creates a deep sense of gratitude, making you cherish what you already have. This is not about pessimism or dwelling on fears. It is about grounding yourself in reality and strengthening your ability to endure. Negative visualization doesn't mean inviting bad outcomes, but rather equipping yourself to face them if they come. It is a mental exercise that turns potential adversity into a tool for personal growth and an antidote to complacency. By practicing this regularly, you develop a sense of calm preparedness while deepening your appreciation for the present moment. With the next phase of the journey in sight, the fourth rule introduces us to a profound Stoic concept, Memento Mori, which translates to remember that you must die. While this may sound morbid at first, it is actually a gentle reminder of life's fleeting nature and the importance of making every moment count. Reflecting on mortality is not about fearing death, but about appreciating life more deeply. Imagine each morning beginning with the thought that today could be your last. How differently would you approach your day? Instead of postponing meaningful conversations, you would prioritize them. Instead of wasting time on trivial concerns, you would focus on what truly matters. For instance, consider how often we put off expressing gratitude to loved ones, assuming there will always be more time. But if we remember that time is not guaranteed, we feel an urgency to act now, to love, to forgive, and to live fully. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a key figure in Stoicism, often reminded himself to live as if each day were his last. This practice doesn't encourage despair, but rather inspires clarity and purpose. By keeping the brevity of life in mind, you begin to strip away distractions and focus on living virtuously with intention and gratitude. Memento Mori teaches us to embrace every moment as a gift and an opportunity, no matter how ordinary it may seem. It challenges us to stop taking time for granted and to live in a way that would leave no room for regret. This reflection on mortality is not an invitation to sadness. Instead, it is a call to awaken to the beauty and urgency of the present. When you truly grasp that life is both precious and impermanent, you realize that every decision, every interaction, and every experience holds immeasurable value. Moving forward, the fifth rule introduces us to another cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, Amor Fati, which means love your fate. This profound idea invites us to embrace everything that happens in life, whether joyous or challenging, as not only necessary but meaningful. Imagine viewing each experience, even the difficult ones, as pieces of a larger puzzle that shape who you are and guide you toward wisdom. Instead of resisting adversity or wishing things were different, Amor Fati encourages you to see obstacles as opportunities for growth. For example, think about a time when something you considered a setback eventually led to something better, a new direction, a valuable lesson, or an unexpected strength. The Stoics believed that life's events are not inherently good or bad. It is our perception of them that determines their impact. When you accept events as they unfold and trust in the process of life, you cultivate resilience and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This means that even life's hardships can fuel your growth and illuminate your path if you choose to embrace them. By loving your fate, you free yourself from the weight of resistance and transform challenges into stepping stones. Imagine the peace of mind that comes when you stop fighting circumstances beyond your control and instead welcome them as part of your journey. Amor Fati is not about passive acceptance or giving up. It is about active engagement with life, seeing every moment as an opportunity to practice virtue, gratitude, and strength. This mindset allows you to rise above external circumstances and find meaning in every twist and turn of the path you walk. Ultimately, To love your fate is to affirm life in its entirety, making peace with what was, what is, and what will be. With the next phase of the journey in sight, the sixth rule highlights the very heart of Stoic philosophy, focusing on virtue. The Stoics taught that true happiness does not come from wealth, status, or fleeting pleasures, but from living a life rooted in virtue. Virtue in this context means embodying qualities such as wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. These are the cornerstones of a life well lived, guiding us to make decisions that align with our highest values. Imagine navigating life with these virtues as your compass. Wisdom allows you to discern what is truly important and avoid getting lost in trivial pursuits. Courage gives you the strength to face fears, take risks, and stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult. Justice keeps you fair and considerate, reminding you to treat others as you wish to be treated, while self-discipline helps you resist harmful temptations and stay focused on long-term goals. The Stoics believed that when you cultivate and prioritize these virtues, you achieve a sense of fulfillment that external rewards could never provide. Think of a time when you made a choice that felt deeply aligned with your values, even if it was challenging in the moment. Perhaps you stood up for someone who was being wronged, stayed patient during a frustrating situation, or chose to do the right thing despite it being inconvenient. Reflect on how that choice brought you a lasting sense of satisfaction and inner peace. Focusing on virtue means striving to be the best version of yourself, not for recognition or rewards, but because it is inherently the right thing to do. This inner alignment becomes a source of unshakable happiness, one that external circumstances cannot take away. The beauty of virtue is that it is always within your control. It is not dependent on the actions of others or the unpredictability of life. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simple yet profound guidance underscores the Stoic commitment to integrity and moral character. By focusing on virtue, you cultivate a life of meaning and purpose, one where your happiness is rooted in the kind of person you choose to be every day. Moving forward, the seventh rule shifts our focus to a principle deeply rooted in personal accountability, taking responsibility for your actions. The Stoics emphasize that true strength comes from owning your decisions and their consequences, rather than shifting blame onto others or external circumstances. Think for a moment about how often we might be tempted to point fingers, blaming a colleague for a setback at work, the weather for ruining our plans, or even luck for not being in our favor. Yet, Stoicism teaches us that real empowerment begins when we stop looking outward for excuses and start looking inward for solutions. By taking full responsibility, you reclaim control over your life. For example, if a project at work does not succeed, instead of focusing on what others could have done differently, consider what you could improve next time, perhaps better communication, preparation, or time management. This shift in mindset is transformative because it allows you to learn and grow rather than remain stuck in frustration or denial. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By taking responsibility, you realize that while you may not control every outcome, you do control your reactions, decisions, and efforts. This principle also extends to how we handle mistakes. Instead of fearing failure, the Stoics encourage us to see it as an opportunity to reflect and improve. Imagine a time when you made a mistake but owned up to it fully. Perhaps you apologized sincerely, corrected your error, and learned something valuable in the process. Reflect on how that moment, though humbling, was also empowering. Taking responsibility is not about burdening yourself with guilt or shame. It is about accepting your role in shaping your life and making choices that align with your values. It is a practice of courage and humility, one that builds resilience and earns respect, not just from others but also from yourself. By embracing this rule, you take a step closer to living a life of integrity and strength, where every action becomes an opportunity to grow and become the best version of yourself. Now turning to the eighth rule, we delve into the practice of silencing external noise. In our fast-paced and hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded by distractions, whether it is the endless scrolling on social media, the barrage of opinions from others, or the temptation to engage in gossip. Stoicism teaches us to tune out this external noise and instead focus on what truly matters. By doing so, we create mental clarity and preserve our energy for the things that genuinely align with our values. Imagine a moment when you felt overwhelmed by the chatter of the world around you. Perhaps it was a heated debate online, unsolicited advice from too many people, or simply the overwhelming hum of daily distractions. The Stoics remind us that much of this noise holds little to no value in the grand scheme of our lives. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advises us to be deaf to what makes no sense. This is not about ignoring others or shutting yourself off completely, but rather about choosing carefully what you allow into your mental space. For instance, when faced with gossip or negativity, ask yourself, does this serve any purpose in my personal growth or well-being? If the answer is no, you have the power to let it go. Picture this practice like adjusting the dials on a radio, where you intentionally tune into the frequencies that bring you peace, wisdom, or inspiration while filtering out the static. Consider starting your day by setting intentions. Decide what deserves your attention and what does not. When you encounter conflicting opinions, you do not need to respond to every comment or defend every choice. Instead, respond selectively and thoughtfully in alignment with your principles. The beauty of silencing external noise is that it fosters a deeper connection with your inner voice. It allows you to focus on your goals, nurture meaningful relationships, and stay steadfast in your pursuit of a life well lived. By practicing this rule, you strengthen your ability to stay composed amidst chaos and maintain a sense of purpose, no matter how loud the world around you becomes. Moving forward, we arrive at the ninth rule, the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Stoicism that serves as a powerful antidote to discontent and negativity. The Stoics knew that by appreciating what we already have, we can cultivate a sense of contentment and joy regardless of our circumstances. Take a moment to reflect on your day. Did the warm sunlight touch your face? Did you share a kind word with someone? Or perhaps you enjoyed a simple meal? These small blessings, so easy to overlook, are the building blocks of a grateful life. Seneca reminds us that true wealth lies not in accumulating more, but in appreciating what we have. Gratitude shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is present, transforming our perspective from scarcity to abundance. A practical way to embrace this rule is by setting aside a few moments each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for. Consider keeping a gratitude journal where you jot down 3 things each evening that brought you joy or comfort. These could be as small as the sound of rain, the laughter of a loved one, or even the ability to take a deep breath and find calm within yourself. By making this a daily habit, you train your mind to seek positivity, even in challenging times. Another way to practice gratitude is by expressing it outwardly. A simple thank you to someone who has helped you, or a kind word to show appreciation, not only uplifts others but deepens your own sense of connection and fulfillment. When faced with difficulties, gratitude can also serve as a guiding light. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What opportunity does this challenge bring? This shift in mindset allows you to see setbacks as teachers and fosters resilience. The beauty of gratitude lies in its simplicity. It does not require wealth, status, or perfect circumstances. It simply asks you to recognize the blessings already present in your life. By practicing gratitude daily, you not only nurture a more positive outlook but also align yourself with the Stoic pursuit of living a virtuous and contented life. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we arrive at the 10th rule, the practice of daily reflection. This Stoic habit is a powerful tool for personal growth and self-awareness. At the end of each day, take a quiet moment to look back on how you lived. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where could I have done better? What lessons can I carry forward into tomorrow? This simple exercise, done consistently, helps you identify patterns in your actions and thoughts, enabling you to make gradual but meaningful improvements over time. One practical way to engage in daily reflection is by keeping a journal. In this journal, note down the moments that brought you pride, joy, or a sense of accomplishment, and also the instances where you fell short of your own standards. For example, did you show kindness and patience in a situation that required it, or did you let frustration get the better of you? Writing these reflections serves as a mirror, helping you see yourself more clearly without judgment. Another approach is to meditate on your day, replaying its events in your mind as if you were watching a film. Visualize your actions and responses, and consider how they align with the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline that Stoicism holds dear. This process is not about self-criticism but about self-awareness. It allows you to celebrate your progress while also acknowledging areas where you can grow. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius often wrote his reflections in his personal journal, which we now know as his Meditations. These writings were not intended for anyone else. They were simply his way of holding himself accountable to his principles. By adopting the practice of daily reflection, you too can create a sacred space for honesty, growth, and alignment with your values. Over time, this habit shapes you into a more thoughtful and intentional individual, guiding you closer to the Stoic ideal of living a virtuous life. Remember, every day is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to do better. As you make this practice a part of your routine, you may find that it not only transforms your evenings but also empowers your tomorrows. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we explore the 11th rule, embracing simplicity. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the idea that true contentment comes not from acquiring more but from needing less. Living simply means freeing yourself from the relentless pursuit of material possessions and the distractions of constant desires. It is about prioritizing what truly matters, your character, your relationships, and your purpose, over fleeting pleasures or external validation. Consider this: how often do we confuse wants with needs? Stoicism teaches us to differentiate between the two and to focus only on what is essential for a meaningful life. By letting go of excess, you create space for clarity and peace of mind. Simplicity also reduces the mental clutter that comes with striving to keep up with societal expectations or chasing after superficial status symbols. To embrace simplicity in practice, start by assessing your life with honesty. Ask yourself, what do I truly need to feel fulfilled? Which possessions, habits, or commitments are adding value? And which are merely distractions? You might find that the things you thought were essential, like owning the latest gadget or an overflowing wardrobe, are actually burdens rather than sources of joy. For example, instead of filling your schedule to the brim with activities, focus on a few that align with your values and bring you genuine satisfaction. Or rather than accumulating more possessions, practice gratitude for what you already have. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us that wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. Another way to cultivate simplicity is by practicing moderation. Enjoy life's pleasures, but do so in a way that is balanced and mindful. For instance, savor a meal not because it is extravagant but because it nourishes you and brings you together with loved ones. This approach reflects the Stoic principle of temperance or self-discipline in all things. Simplicity is not about deprivation, it is about liberation. By choosing simplicity, you free yourself from the anxiety of always wanting more and instead find joy in the abundance of what you already have. This shift allows you to focus your energy on growth, relationships, and living in accordance with virtue. The pursuit of simplicity ultimately leads to a life of deeper meaning and inner peace. helping you walk the path toward the Stoic ideal of tranquility. As you reflect on your own life, consider the ways in which simplicity can bring you closer to that ideal, clearing the way for what truly matters. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we delve into the 12th rule, cultivating inner strength. In Stoic philosophy, true strength is not measured by physical power or outward dominance, but by your ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Life is filled with challenges, both big and small, and it is through these moments that we have the opportunity to grow stronger, both mentally and emotionally. Instead of running from difficulties, the Stoics teach us to embrace them, to see them not as obstacles but as stepping stones toward resilience and wisdom. Consider this: how often do we view struggles as something to be avoided at all costs? What if instead we saw them as valuable teachers, shaping us into more capable and composed individuals? For example, facing rejection might initially stir feelings of disappointment or even self-doubt, but with a Stoic mindset, you could perceive it as a chance to refine your skills, reassess your approach, or simply grow thicker skin. Building inner strength begins with a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This subtle yet powerful change allows you to take control of your narrative, transforming any hardship into a meaningful part of your journey. Another way to cultivate resilience is through voluntary discomfort, a practice the Stoics often employed. By intentionally stepping outside your comfort zone, whether by fasting, exercising discipline over impulses, or exposing yourself to manageable challenges, you train your mind to remain calm and composed under pressure. Think of it as a form of mental preparedness, ensuring that when life's inevitable storms arise, you can weather them with grace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This wisdom encourages us to face setbacks head-on, knowing that each obstacle contains the seeds of growth and transformation. Inner strength also comes from knowing your core values and staying true to them, even when it is difficult. It is about developing the courage to act with integrity and the patience to endure challenges without losing sight of who you are. By embracing challenges as opportunities rather than misfortunes, you build the kind of fortitude that no external force can take away. This strength is not about suppressing emotions, but about mastering them, acknowledging their presence, understanding their roots, and responding with clarity rather than impulsivity. As you reflect on the role of inner strength in your life, think about the ways you might reframe your struggles as lessons and opportunities for growth. How can you take a step today toward embracing challenges with a Stoic mindset, turning them into fuel for your own resilience? Through this practice, you move closer to the Stoic ideal of tranquility, rooted in the unshakable foundation of your inner fortitude. As the next challenge unfolds, we arrive at the 13th rule: avoid complaining. In the teachings of Stoicism, complaining is seen as an unproductive use of energy, one that distracts us from finding solutions and cultivating inner peace. When we complain, we give power to the very circumstances we wish to overcome, allowing negativity to cloud our judgment and prevent meaningful progress. Instead, the Stoics urge us to redirect that energy toward what we can control: our actions, our attitudes, and our responses. Think about it. How often does complaining actually change the situation? Does it make the challenge disappear, or does it simply amplify our frustration? Imagine a difficult day at work filled with unexpected tasks or setbacks. While it might feel natural to vent about the unfairness of it all, a Stoic approach would be to pause and ask, "What steps can I take to make this situation better?" By focusing on solutions rather than problems, you reclaim your agency and move closer to resolving the issue. Another key aspect of this rule is understanding the impact of complaints on those around us. Constantly voicing dissatisfaction not only reinforces our own negative mindset, but can also spread negativity to others, creating an atmosphere of unrest. Instead, consider how much more empowering it is to approach challenges with calm resolve and thoughtful action. For instance, if a friend or colleague comes to you with their complaints, instead of joining in the frustration, try to gently guide the conversation toward finding constructive ways to address the issue. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom teaches us that while we cannot always control the situations we face, we can choose how we perceive and respond to them. Refraining from complaining does not mean ignoring difficulties or bottling up emotions. It means choosing to face challenges with a mindset of growth and resolution. The next time you find yourself tempted to complain, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, how can I turn this frustration into action? By practicing this shift in perspective, you not only develop resilience but also create a more positive and proactive environment for yourself and those around you. This is a crucial step toward embodying the Stoic ideal of tranquility, where the focus remains on progress and peace rather than on the distractions of negativity. Moving forward, we arrive at the 14th rule: be an observer of your emotions. In Stoicism, emotions are not seen as enemies but as natural human responses that require careful management. The key lies not in suppressing them but in observing them without letting them dictate your actions. Think of your mind as a ship navigating through a turbulent sea. Your emotions are the waves, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. As the captain, you cannot control the waves, but you can control how you steer your ship. Do you let the waves push you off course, or do you adjust your sails and stay steady toward your destination? This practice begins with awareness. When you feel anger, sadness, or anxiety arising, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is the source of this emotion? Is it within my control, or is it a reaction to external events? By taking this step back, you create a gap between the emotion and your response, allowing room for reason and reflection. For example, imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your initial emotional wave might be frustration or anger, but instead of acting impulsively, honking your horn or shouting, you could choose to observe the emotion and let it pass. By doing so, you maintain control over your actions rather than surrendering to the momentary surge of feelings. The Stoics often remind us that emotions are like visitors. They come and go, and it is up to us to decide whether to entertain them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom calls us to recognize that while we cannot avoid emotions entirely, we can choose how much influence they hold over us. Another helpful metaphor is seeing emotions as clouds in the sky. They drift in, sometimes dark and heavy, but they will eventually pass, revealing the clear skies of rational thought. By observing these clouds without clinging to them, you remain grounded in your inner calm and clarity. Practicing this rule not only helps in moments of immediate stress, but also builds long-term resilience. It teaches you to approach life with a steady hand, no matter the emotional storms that may arise. The next time you feel an emotion begin to take hold, remember that you are the captain of your ship. Steer wisely, observe the waves, and navigate toward a state of tranquility. As we move forward, let us explore how the Stoics turned obstacles into opportunities, reframing challenges as stepping stones for growth. As the next challenge unfolds, we arrive at the 15th rule: view obstacles as opportunities. To the Stoics, obstacles were not roadblocks but rather essential elements of growth. They believed that every challenge carries within it the seed of self-improvement. It is not the adversity itself, but how we choose to respond to it that defines our path. Imagine you are faced with a significant setback, perhaps failing to achieve a personal or professional goal. Instead of dwelling on the failure, the Stoic perspective encourages you to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger because of it? This shift in mindset turns what might feel like a loss into a valuable lesson. One of the most famous Stoic principles comes from Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. This profound insight reminds us that the very things that seem to hinder us can, when approached correctly, lead us forward. For example, think of an athlete recovering from an injury. While the initial instinct might be frustration, the situation offers a unique opportunity to focus on areas of improvement, such as refining technique, building mental resilience, or developing patience. The obstacle, rather than halting progress, becomes a catalyst for growth. Or consider someone who loses their job unexpectedly. While the immediate reaction may be one of fear or disappointment, this could also be a chance to explore new career paths, learn new skills, or even rediscover passions that had been set aside. By embracing the obstacle, they turn what seemed like a setback into a turning point in their journey. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable and hardships are inevitable. However, they taught that we always retain the power of choice how we perceive the event and how we respond to it. Instead of seeing challenges as punishments or misfortunes, they can be reframed as opportunities to cultivate virtues like courage, patience, and wisdom. It is through these trials that we become stronger, more capable, and better equipped to face future adversity. The next time you encounter an obstacle, pause and consider how it can serve you rather than hinder you. Reframe the challenge, find the lesson within it, and transform it into a stepping stone for personal development. This mindset does not just help you navigate life's difficulties, it empowers you to thrive in spite of them. With this empowering perspective in mind, let us now look at the Stoic wisdom on the art of listening and how speaking less can help us hear and learn more. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we arrive at the 16th rule, speak less and listen more. The Stoics understood the profound value of silence and the art of listening. According to them, words should be tools of wisdom, not weapons of impulsiveness. They believed that thoughtful speech begins with attentive listening. When we actively listen, we open ourselves to understanding others better, fostering deeper connections and gaining insights that would otherwise be missed. Imagine a conversation where you resist the urge to interject your opinion or tell your story. Instead, you simply listen fully and attentively. This small act shows respect, builds trust, and often reveals layers of meaning in what is being shared. The Stoics also taught that silence is a form of strength, not a sign of weakness. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Let silence be your general rule, or say only what is necessary and in few words." This idea resonates even more in our modern world, where noise, opinions, and distractions often drown out meaningful dialogue. Speaking less not only helps us avoid saying things we might regret, but also allows us to carefully refine our thoughts. When we speak with intention, our words carry weight and purpose, leaving a lasting impact. Consider the example of a leader in a heated meeting. By choosing to listen first, they gain a clear picture of the situation, hear different perspectives, and respond with wisdom and clarity rather than reacting impulsively. This approach not only earns the respect of others but also leads to better decisions. Or think of a student learning from a mentor. They gain far more by listening intently and absorbing the wisdom being offered than by dominating the conversation with their own views. In both cases, the act of listening enriches understanding and builds stronger, more meaningful relationships. The next time you find yourself in a conversation, pause and ask, "Am I truly listening, or am I just waiting for my turn to speak?" Practice holding back unnecessary words and observe how much more you hear and learn. Speak less, listen more, and you will find that not only does your understanding deepen, but the quality of your interactions improves. With this practice rooted in Stoic wisdom, let us now move forward to explore the art of composure and the importance of not overreacting when faced with life's challenges. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we arrive at the 17th rule, do not overreact. The Stoics believed that maintaining composure in the face of challenges is a hallmark of wisdom and strength. Overreacting, whether through anger, fear, or anxiety, often clouds our judgment and magnifies problems that could have been managed more effectively with a calm mind. Picture a situation where someone cuts you off in traffic. While it might be tempting to react with frustration or anger, the Stoic approach would urge you to pause and reflect. Does this fleeting moment truly warrant such a strong emotional response? Most likely it does not. By choosing to remain composed, you preserve your energy, focus, and peace of mind. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us that people are not disturbed by events themselves, but by their perceptions of those events. This means that we hold the power to shape our responses. When faced with a frustrating or unexpected situation, the key is to create space between the event and your reaction. Take a deep breath, count to 5, and approach the situation with clarity rather than impulse. Consider a professional setting where a colleague delivers harsh criticism. Instead of overreacting defensively or emotionally, reflect on their words objectively. Is there a kernel of truth that could help you improve? Responding thoughtfully rather than impulsively not only demonstrates maturity but also keeps the conversation productive. Or think about parenting a young child. When they throw a tantrum, reacting with equal frustration rarely de-escalates the situation. However, a calm and composed reaction can guide them toward understanding and resolution. This ability to stay composed does not mean suppressing emotions entirely but channeling them constructively. The next time you feel the urge to overreact, pause and ask yourself, how can I respond to this in a way that aligns with my values and long-term goals? As we navigate through life, challenges and provocations are inevitable, but how we respond to them defines our character. By practicing restraint and thoughtful response, we embody the Stoic ideal of inner tranquility. Now turning to the 18th rule, let us explore the profound value of focusing on the present moment and how it shapes a fulfilling life. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we delve into the 18th rule, focus on the present moment. The Stoics placed immense importance on living fully in the here and now, a principle that remains incredibly relevant in our modern world filled with distractions. Too often, we find ourselves trapped either reliving moments of the past or anxiously forecasting the future. This habit not only robs us of the joy and opportunities of the present, but also creates unnecessary stress. The Stoic teacher Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." These simple yet profound words remind us that the only moment we truly possess is the one we are in right now. Dwelling on what has already happened cannot change it, and worrying about what might happen only pulls us further away from what we can actually influence. Imagine spending your days scrolling through social media, comparing your life to curated images of others. In doing so, you risk losing sight of the beauty and value within your own life as it unfolds moment by moment. The Stoic approach encourages us to put down the distractions and fully engage with what is in front of us, be it a conversation with a loved one, a task at work, or even something as simple as enjoying a meal. Consider the act of mindfulness. This practice aligns closely with Stoic principles as it teaches us to anchor ourselves in the present. For example, when stress about an upcoming deadline begins to creep in, pause and focus on what you can do right now to make progress. By addressing the immediate steps within your control, you not only reduce overwhelm but also increase your effectiveness. Or think about the lingering regret over a missed opportunity. While it is natural to feel disappointment, the Stoic perspective would remind us that the past is unchangeable. Instead, channel that energy into what you can do today to create new opportunities and grow. Living in the present does not mean disregarding the past or ignoring plans for the future. It means recognizing that true power lies in the choices we make right now. The next time you catch your mind drifting to what was or what might be, gently bring it back to the present by asking yourself, what is within my power at this very moment? By practicing presence, we cultivate awareness, gratitude, and intentionality, which in turn lead to a more fulfilling and balanced life. Now moving forward to the 19th rule, let us uncover how embracing self-discipline is a cornerstone for achieving both inner peace and lasting success. Now turning to the 19th rule, let us delve into the essential Stoic practice of self-discipline. At its core, self-discipline is the ability to govern our thoughts, actions, and decisions in alignment with our values and long-term goals, rather than succumbing to fleeting impulses or emotional whims. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes not from indulging in every desire but from mastering oneself. It is through deliberate restraint that we gain the power to choose the path of virtue over vice and progress over procrastination. Imagine being faced with the temptation to binge-watch a show when you know you have a pressing project to complete. In that moment, self-discipline calls for prioritizing what truly matters over what provides immediate gratification. By choosing to stay focused on the project, you not only inch closer to accomplishing your goal, but also strengthen your ability to resist similar temptations in the future. Think of self-discipline as a muscle it grows with consistent practice. Even small acts of discipline, such as waking up early, sticking to a budget, or choosing healthy meals, build the foundation for greater accomplishments over time. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a prominent Stoic, emphasized this when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This statement underscores the significance of self-control in shaping our lives from the inside out. The Stoics also recognized that self-discipline enables us to handle adversity with grace. For instance, when faced with criticism or a challenging situation, reacting impulsively might feel satisfying in the moment but often leads to regret. However, with self-discipline, we can pause, evaluate the situation rationally, and respond in a measured way that aligns with our higher principles. Furthermore, self-discipline does not mean living a rigid or joyless life. Instead, it offers us the clarity and strength to make choices that lead to genuine fulfillment rather than temporary pleasures that may come at a cost to our well-being or integrity. As you begin to cultivate self-discipline, start small and focus on consistency. Practice delaying gratification by setting achievable goals and rewarding yourself only after the work is done. Over time, you will notice a profound shift, not only in your ability to achieve your aspirations, but also in your overall sense of empowerment and peace. When we master ourselves, we unlock the potential to shape our lives with intention and purpose, one choice at a time. Now, as we transition to the 20th rule, we will explore how not being controlled by others' opinions allows us to remain steadfast and true to our own values. Now turning to the 20th rule, we uncover the profound strength in not being controlled by others' opinions. At its heart, this Stoic principle encourages us to remain anchored in our own values and judgments, rather than being swayed by the ever-changing tides of external validation or criticism. The Stoics believed that placing too much weight on the opinions of others can distract us from living a life rooted in virtue and authenticity. Imagine pouring your energy into achieving a meaningful goal, only to hesitate or lose momentum because of someone's dismissive comment or disapproval. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism guides us to separate what we can control, such as our own actions and beliefs, from what we cannot, like the thoughts or reactions of others. Epictetus, a well-known Stoic philosopher, famously said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This highlights an essential truth. Personal growth often requires stepping outside the bounds of societal expectations and daring to walk your own path, even when it is misunderstood or mocked by others. By learning to detach from external opinions, we free ourselves to make choices that align with our core values, rather than seeking approval or avoiding criticism. Consider this: a sculptor shaping a masterpiece does not pause with every passing bystander's remark on how the sculpture should look. Instead, they remain focused on their vision, confident in their ability to create something meaningful. Similarly, in life, we must view the opinions of others as peripheral noise, while staying committed to the work of shaping our own character and destiny. This principle does not suggest that we ignore all feedback. Constructive criticism can be invaluable when it comes from trusted sources. However, the key lies in discerning the difference between helpful guidance and mere external noise. This discernment allows us to engage with feedback thoughtfully, without letting it dictate our self-worth or direction. When we let go of the need to please everyone or gain universal approval, we gain a profound sense of inner peace and freedom. We become less reactive, more assured, and better equipped to make decisions that truly serve our higher purpose. The Stoics remind us that the opinions of others are fleeting and often shaped by factors entirely unrelated to us. Therefore, anchoring our happiness or self-esteem in such impermanent factors is a recipe for unnecessary frustration and self-doubt. Instead, focus on living with integrity, driven by a clear understanding of your principles and priorities. With practice, you will find that the less you rely on others' approval, the more resilient and authentic you become. Moving forward, the 21st rule will delve into the art of accepting criticism gracefully and using it as a tool for growth rather than a source of insecurity. Moving forward, the 21st rule invites us to explore the art of accepting criticism gracefully. At its core, this principle teaches us to approach feedback with open-mindedness, distinguishing between criticism that can help us grow and negativity that serves no purpose. The Stoics recognize that not all criticism is created equal. Some critiques come from a place of wisdom and genuine care, while others stem from misunderstandings or even malice. The key lies in learning how to discern the difference. Imagine receiving feedback on a project you poured your heart into. Constructive criticism offered in good faith might highlight areas where you can improve, offering you an opportunity for growth. On the other hand, baseless negativity might look like vague insults or unwarranted personal attacks that offer no real insight. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, reminds us, "If someone can show me my mistake and prove to me that I am wrong, I will gladly change. For I seek the truth which never harmed anyone." This perspective emphasizes the value of remaining grounded in your pursuit of wisdom, rather than allowing ego or defensiveness to block your progress. When faced with constructive criticism, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this feedback rooted in truth, and can it help me improve? If the answer is yes, embrace it with humility and gratitude. Use it as a tool to refine your skills, strengthen your character, and move closer to your goals. However, when confronted with baseless or harmful negativity, the Stoic approach is to remain calm and unshaken. Remember, harmful comments are often more reflective of the critic than of you. By refusing to internalize such negativity, you protect your peace of mind and preserve your energy for what truly matters. Consider criticism as a mirror. It can show you areas of improvement, but it does not have to define your worth. This balance requires self-awareness and a firm grounding in your own principles. The Stoics remind us to value truth over comfort, growth over ego, and progress over perfection. By accepting criticism thoughtfully and separating the helpful from the harmful, we cultivate resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. As we continue this journey, the 22nd rule will guide us through the process of adapting to change with grace and flexibility. With the next phase of the journey in sight, the 22nd rule delves into the Stoic belief in the inevitability of change and how embracing flexibility can help us navigate life's transitions. Change is one of the few certainties in existence, and the Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that resisting change is like trying to hold back the tides. It's not only futile, but also a source of unnecessary suffering. Instead, the Stoic path encourages us to align with the natural flow of life, adapting with grace rather than clinging to a static vision of how things should be. Imagine a tree in a storm. The rigid branches snap under the pressure of heavy winds, while the flexible ones bend and sway, surviving until calm returns. This is the essence of adaptability, a strength found in flexibility rather than rigidity. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, reminds us, events do not disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them that do. By shifting our perspective, we can find opportunities within even the most challenging changes. For instance, losing a job or experiencing a major life shift might initially spark fear or uncertainty. However, through a Stoic lens, these moments are seen as opportunities to learn, grow, or perhaps take a new direction that we might not have considered before. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, while letting go of the uncontrollable, such as external circumstances or outcomes. By doing so, we can face change with a calm and centered mindset. Pause for a moment and consider this. What if every change you encounter is an invitation to evolve? What if, instead of fighting the shifts in your life, you welcome them as necessary steps in your journey? This mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also cultivates resilience and openness. Change, after all, is the process through which we grow and become stronger. Adapting to change is not about passively accepting everything that happens. Rather, it's about responding with intention and wisdom. It's about asking yourself, how can I use this moment to act in alignment with my values and move closer to my highest self? By embracing change with grace and flexibility, we honor the Stoic truth that life is in constant flux and that our power lies in how we respond. As we carry forward, the 23rd rule will explore the importance of avoiding envy and cherishing our unique path. Now turning to the 23rd rule, we delve into the importance of avoiding envy and focusing on appreciating your own unique journey. Envy, at its core, is born from comparison, a tendency to measure our worth against the lives or achievements of others. The Stoics recognize this as a destructive habit, one that clouds judgment, sows discontent, and pulls us away from inner peace. Instead, they encourage us to shift our energy inward, valuing the progress we have made and the path we are on. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, do not envy the man who appears to be happy. A moment's reflection will show you that you have no idea what burdens he carries. This serves as a reminder that the grass often seems greener on the other side simply because we do not see its struggles or flaws. Consider this: every individual's life is shaped by their own circumstances, challenges, and choices. Comparing your journey to someone else's is like comparing apples to oranges, completely unproductive and unfair to yourself. Instead, the Stoic way teaches us to embrace gratitude for what we have and where we are. Take a few moments to reflect on your unique talents, experiences, and opportunities. These are the elements that make your journey special and meaningful. Envy distracts from this truth, pulling focus away from what truly matters: your own growth and fulfillment. Imagine running a race and constantly looking at the lanes beside you. This not only slows you down, but also prevents you from fully concentrating on your own path. By focusing solely on your lane, you can run with purpose and clarity. The Stoics remind us that when we free ourselves from envy, we create space for joy, connection, and authentic appreciation of others. Instead of resenting someone's success, celebrate it. It does not diminish your own value in any way. If anything, it can inspire you to strive for excellence in your own endeavors. The key is to always bring the focus back to what is within your control: your thoughts, actions, and attitude. Remember, your journey is uniquely yours, and therein lies its beauty. Moving forward, the 24th rule will explore how choosing reason over emotion helps us make sound decisions and stay aligned with our highest selves. Now turning to the 24th rule, we examine the importance of choosing reason over emotion in our decision-making process. The Stoics believed that our ability to think rationally is what sets us apart and allows us to live in harmony with our values and purpose. Emotions, while natural and human, can often cloud our judgment, leading us to act impulsively or in ways that do not align with our best interests. By prioritizing reason, we can step back, assess situations objectively, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Consider those moments when a heated argument or sudden frustration tempted you to say or do something you later regretted. These instances highlight the dangers of being swept away by emotion. The Stoics advise that before acting, we should pause and ask ourselves key questions. Is this reaction helpful? Is it aligned with my values? What would a more thoughtful response look like? In doing so, we create space for reason to guide our actions, steering us toward choices we can stand by in the long term. Let us take an example. Imagine receiving harsh criticism at work. Your immediate emotional response might be anger or defensiveness, pushing you to snap back or shut down. However, a Stoic approach would encourage you to pause, breathe, and assess the situation rationally. Is there any truth in the feedback? Could this be an opportunity to learn and improve? By choosing reason, you can transform a potentially negative encounter into a constructive moment for growth. The Stoic practice of detachment is particularly helpful here, distancing ourselves from the heat of the moment to gain clarity. This does not mean suppressing emotions, but rather acknowledging them without letting them control us. Think of emotions as waves in the ocean. While they may rise and fall, we can choose not to be carried away by them, but instead anchor ourselves to the steady ground of reason. When we consistently choose reason over emotion, we cultivate a sense of stability and self-control that benefits not only ourselves but also those around us. Rational thinking allows us to make decisions that reflect our highest selves, fostering better relationships, improved outcomes, and a stronger sense of inner peace. As we let go of emotional impulsiveness, we find that our actions carry more purpose and intention. Moving forward, the 25th rule will explore how being of service to others connects us to a higher sense of fulfillment and purpose. Now turning to the 25th rule, we delve into the profound Stoic principle of being of service to others. The Stoics believe that true fulfillment arises not from selfish pursuits but from contributing to the greater good. By serving others, we align ourselves with the interconnected nature of humanity, cultivating a deep sense of purpose and belonging. This rule reminds us that life is not solely about individual achievements, but about how we uplift and support those around us. Consider for a moment how small acts of kindness can ripple outward. A simple gesture offering help to a colleague overwhelmed by deadlines or lending a listening ear to a friend in need can create a positive impact far beyond what we initially imagine. The Stoics taught that by acting in service, we not only benefit others but also strengthen our own character, fostering virtues like empathy, patience, and humility. Take the example of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor who consistently emphasized his duty to the people he served. Despite the immense pressures of leadership, he prioritized the well-being of his citizens and approached his responsibilities through the lens of service. His actions remind us that being of use to others is not limited to grand gestures or lofty positions. Instead, it is rooted in our daily interactions and choices, no matter how small they may seem. By helping others, we also transcend the confines of our own concerns. It is easy to become consumed by personal challenges, but service shifts our focus outward, reminding us of the broader world and the shared struggles of humanity. This perspective can be incredibly liberating as it fosters gratitude and a sense of connection that alleviates feelings of isolation or self-centeredness. The Stoics also emphasize that service does not require recognition or reward. Instead, it should stem from a genuine desire to do good. When we act without expectations, the act itself becomes its own reward, filling our lives with meaning and satisfaction. Imagine volunteering at a local shelter or mentoring someone who looks up to you. These acts, though simple, carry immense value, not because of any external praise, but because they represent the best of who we are. Ultimately, living in service to others helps us live in harmony with the natural order envisioned by Stoic philosophy. It reminds us that we are all part of a larger whole and that our actions, big or small, contribute to the collective well-being. As we adopt this mindset, we not only elevate others but also deepen our own sense of purpose and contentment. Moving forward, the 26th rule will guide us in practicing forgiveness, another cornerstone of inner peace and harmonious living. Moving forward, the 26th rule calls us to practice forgiveness, a fundamental pillar of Stoic philosophy. At its core, forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing or forgetting harm, but about releasing the burden of resentment that weighs heavily on our hearts and minds. The Stoics believed that holding on to grudges only prolongs our suffering, keeping us tethered to negative emotions that disrupt our inner peace. Take, for example, the words of Seneca, who advised that anger and vengeance consume far more energy than forgiveness ever does. He emphasized that by letting go of these destructive emotions, we free ourselves to live more calmly and rationally. Forgiveness, in this sense, is a gift not just to others but to ourselves, as it liberates us from the chains of bitterness and allows us to focus on what truly matters. Imagine a situation where a close friend betrays your trust. The pain, though real, does not have to define your future interactions or your sense of well-being. By choosing to forgive, you reclaim control over your emotions and prevent that hurt from dictating your actions. This does not mean you must forget or reconcile immediately, but forgiveness offers a path forward, a way to heal and grow rather than stay stuck in conflict. Marcus Aurelius, another guiding figure of Stoicism, wrote extensively about the flaws inherent in human nature, including his own. He urged compassion for others, understanding that mistakes and missteps are part of our shared humanity. Reflecting on this can help us cultivate empathy, seeing the broader picture rather than focusing solely on a specific wrong. In forgiving others, we acknowledge their imperfections while also embracing our own capacity for growth and understanding. Forgiveness also aligns seamlessly with the Stoic practice of focusing only on what we can control. While we cannot undo the past or dictate others' actions, we have complete authority over how we respond. Holding on to anger or seeking revenge only gives power to the very people who wronged us. However, by forgiving, we reclaim that power and choose a response rooted in wisdom and virtue. Consider the example of Nelson Mandela, who forgave those who imprisoned him for nearly 3 decades. His ability to let go of anger not only inspired millions but also laid the groundwork for reconciliation and healing in his nation. Although not a Stoic himself, Mandela's actions embody the Stoic ideal of transcending personal grievances to pursue a greater harmony. Ultimately, forgiveness is an act of strength, not weakness. It requires courage to let go of grudges and move forward with a lighter heart. By practicing forgiveness, we pave the way for a life marked by inner peace, resilience, and stronger relationships. It allows us to live in alignment with Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, and compassion. As we embrace this practice, we can finally unburden ourselves from the weight of resentment and experience the freedom that comes with letting go. Now, as we continue on this journey of self-improvement, the 27th rule will remind us of the Stoic urgency to not waste time, emphasizing the importance of living a purposeful and intentional life. Now turning to the 27th rule, we delve into the Stoic urgency of not wasting time. Time, as the Stoics remind us, is our most finite and irreplaceable resource. While we may recover lost wealth or mend broken relationships, the moments that pass are gone forever, making it essential to live with purpose and intention. The Stoic philosopher Seneca poignantly remarked, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." His words are a call to action, urging us to examine how we spend our days and whether our choices align with what truly matters. Imagine scrolling endlessly on social media, losing hours in a haze of distractions, or postponing dreams for someday that may never come. These habits, though common, steal precious time that could be channeled into meaningful pursuits. The Stoics encourage us to be vigilant about where we invest our energy, ensuring that our actions contribute to personal growth, virtuous living, or the betterment of others. By doing so, we can avoid the regret of looking back and realizing how much was squandered on trivialities. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urged himself to live as if each day were his last. This mindset is not about fear but about clarity, recognizing that life's brevity is a reason to focus on what counts rather than being consumed by the unimportant. Picture this: if today were your final day, what would you choose to do? What would you let go of? These reflections can help us prioritize with intention, cutting through the noise of daily distractions to focus on what aligns with our values and aspirations. To avoid wasting time, the Stoics also advocate for discipline and structure, setting clear goals, breaking them into actionable steps, and dedicating time to what truly matters are practical ways to honor the fleeting nature of life. For example, instead of passively waiting for opportunities, the Stoic mindset calls us to actively create them. By cultivating self-discipline, we direct our energy toward endeavors that bring fulfillment and contribute to a life well lived. Consider the example of someone pursuing a creative passion like writing or painting. Rather than waiting for inspiration to strike, they commit to a daily practice, chipping away at their craft with consistency and focus. This deliberate effort not only prevents time from slipping away unnoticed, but also aligns with the Stoic principle of living purposefully. The same applies to nurturing relationships, advancing wisdom through learning, or contributing to one's community. Each requires us to take initiative and make the most of the present. Ultimately, the Stoic urgency to not waste time is a call to live fully and intentionally. It is a reminder that while we cannot control how much time we have, we can control how we use it. By focusing on what truly matters and shedding the trivial, we create a life of purpose, depth, and fulfillment. With this mindset, every moment becomes an opportunity to grow, to contribute, and to live in alignment with our highest values. As we turn the page to the 28th rule, we will explore the liberating practice of detachment and how letting go of external attachments can guide us toward inner peace. Now turning to the 28th rule, we delve into the Stoic practice of detachment. Detachment, in the Stoic sense, is not about rejecting life's pleasures or withdrawing from the world. Instead, it is a mindset that liberates us from being controlled by external possessions, outcomes, or desires. The Stoics teach us that true freedom is found not in accumulating things but in releasing our dependence on them. As Epictetus wisely noted, wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants. This perspective invites us to reassess where we place our value and whether these attachments truly serve our well-being. Imagine the anxiety that often comes with clinging to material possessions or specific outcomes. When we tie our happiness to external things, be it a promotion, a relationship, or even social recognition, we give away our power. These attachments create an emotional fragility as they rely on circumstances beyond our control. The Stoics instead encourage us to cultivate internal stability by valuing what lies within our own power, our thoughts, choices, and actions. This does not mean we cannot enjoy what life offers, but rather that our sense of self should not hinge on external factors. Consider the example of a cherished item, like a favorite piece of jewelry or an expensive gadget. While it is natural to have preferences, the Stoics would remind us that these are just objects and can be lost, damaged, or taken away. Practicing detachment in this context means appreciating the item without letting it define our happiness. By viewing possessions as temporary and external, we free ourselves from the fear of losing them, allowing us to enjoy life with less anxiety and greater peace of mind. The same principle applies to outcomes. Often, we invest significant emotional energy into achieving specific goals, only to be disappointed if things do not go as planned. The Stoic approach to detachment helps us avoid this emotional turmoil by focusing on the effort rather than the result. For instance, a student preparing for an exam should concentrate on diligent study and preparation rather than obsessing over the grade they might receive. By valuing the process over the outcome, we release ourselves from unnecessary stress and find fulfillment in the act of striving itself. Detachment also extends to relationships and emotional desires. While Stoicism never advocates isolation, it does emphasize the importance of maintaining perspective. For example, if we depend entirely on another person's approval for our self-worth, we become vulnerable to their opinions and actions, which are ultimately outside our control. Practicing detachment in this context means cultivating self-respect and inner confidence, allowing us to engage in relationships from a place of strength rather than neediness. Detachment is not about indifference but about wisdom, understanding that the things we hold onto most tightly are often the very things that can cause us the greatest pain. By loosening our grip on external attachments, we create space for inner peace, resilience, and clarity. This practice empowers us to live more freely, focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. As we move forward to the 29th rule, we will uncover the importance of cultivating humility and how it serves as the foundation for growth and wisdom. Now turning to the 29th rule, we explore the profound value of cultivating humility. In Stoic philosophy, humility is not about self-deprecation or thinking less of yourself. Rather, it is about understanding your place within the larger scheme of life and recognizing that there is always more to learn. Humility keeps us grounded, reminding us that no matter how much we achieve or how much we know, we are still part of a vast and complex universe. This perspective helps us approach life with curiosity and openness rather than arrogance or complacency. The Stoics warn against the dangers of pride and overconfidence, which can blind us to our flaws and hinder our growth. When we place ourselves on a pedestal, we risk ignoring valuable lessons and alienating those around us. Humility, on the other hand, fosters a mindset of continuous learning. It allows us to acknowledge our mistakes, seek advice, and embrace feedback without feeling threatened. As Epictetus pointed out, it is impossible to learn that which one thinks one already knows. By practicing humility, we remain receptive to new ideas and perspectives that can enrich our understanding. Consider how humility shapes our interactions with others. When we approach conversations with the belief that we can learn something from everyone, we cultivate deeper connections and mutual respect. Instead of dominating discussions with our opinions or achievements, humility encourages us to listen actively and appreciate the insights others bring to the table. This practice not only enhances relationships but also broadens our horizons as we gain wisdom from diverse experiences and viewpoints. Humility also helps us navigate challenges and setbacks with grace. When we accept that we are not infallible, we are better equipped to handle failure and criticism without losing our sense of self-worth. For example, an athlete who loses a competition but remains humble understands that defeat is not the end but an opportunity to improve. This perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones for growth, reinforcing the Stoic principle that adversity can be a powerful teacher. In daily life, practicing humility might involve small but meaningful actions, such as admitting when we are wrong, expressing gratitude for others' contributions, or refraining from boasting about our successes. These behaviors not only reflect inner strength but also inspire trust and admiration from those around us. Moreover, humility keeps our ambitions in check, ensuring that our drive for success does not come at the expense of our values or relationships. At its core, humility is about seeing ourselves as we truly are, human beings with strengths and weaknesses, capable of growth but also prone to error. By embracing this balanced view, we cultivate resilience, wisdom, and a sense of purpose that transcends our ego. As we move forward to the 30th rule, we will delve into the importance of self-awareness and how understanding ourselves can unlock the path to a more meaningful life. Now turning to the 30th rule, we explore the profound importance of being self-aware. In Stoic philosophy, self-awareness is the foundation for living a virtuous and intentional life. It involves understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and motivations through honest and regular introspection. This practice is not about harsh self-criticism, but rather about acquiring a clear and balanced perspective of who you are. By truly knowing yourself, you can make better choices, align your actions with your values, and navigate life with greater clarity and purpose. The Stoics believed that without self-awareness, we risk living on autopilot, driven by habits, emotions, or external influences that may not serve our best interests. For instance, if you are unaware of a tendency to procrastinate, you may unknowingly delay progress toward your goals. Similarly, if you fail to recognize how certain situations trigger anger or anxiety, you may find yourself repeatedly reacting in ways that harm your relationships or well-being. Self-awareness, therefore, is the key to breaking these patterns and taking control of your life. To cultivate self-awareness, the Stoics encouraged practices such as journaling and daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to review your actions and thoughts. Ask yourself what you did well, where you fell short, and how you can improve tomorrow. This simple yet powerful exercise not only deepens your self-understanding, but also fosters personal growth by turning mistakes into lessons and successes into motivation. For example, if you notice a pattern of impatience in your interactions, you can consciously work on becoming more patient and understanding. Self-awareness also enhances our ability to maintain emotional balance. When you are aware of how your emotions influence your behavior, you can better respond to challenges rather than reacting impulsively. Imagine facing a difficult conversation at work. If you recognize that fear of criticism is making you hesitant, you can address that fear directly and approach the situation with courage and composure. This mindful approach reflects the Stoic ideal of mastery over one's inner world, ensuring that your actions are guided by reason rather than emotion. Knowing yourself also helps you set realistic goals and pursue them with intention. By understanding your strengths, you can leverage them to achieve success, while acknowledging your weaknesses allows you to address them or seek support when needed. For instance, if you excel at creative thinking but struggle with time management, self-awareness enables you to prioritize tasks effectively and avoid overcommitting. This balanced view of yourself fosters both confidence and humility, allowing you to strive for excellence without becoming overconfident or overwhelmed. Another aspect of self-awareness is understanding your values and ensuring that your daily actions align with them. When your actions reflect your true priorities, you achieve a sense of fulfillment that material achievements alone cannot provide. For example, if kindness and generosity are core values for you, being self-aware ensures that you actively embody these principles, whether through small acts of compassion or meaningful contributions to your community. This alignment between your inner self and outer actions creates a peaceful and harmonious way of living. Ultimately, self-awareness is about seeing yourself with clear eyes, acknowledging your complexities without judgment, and embracing your potential for growth. As we delve into the 31st rule, we will discuss the significance of surrounding yourself with virtuous individuals and how the company you keep shapes the person you become. Now turning to the 31st rule, we examine the transformative power of surrounding yourself with virtuous people. In Stoic philosophy, the company you keep is more than just a reflection of your social circle. It is a profound influence on your character and personal growth. The Stoics believed that just as a piece of iron takes on the properties of the fire it is exposed to, we too are shaped by the attitudes, actions, and values of those around us. By seeking out individuals who embody wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, you create an environment that nurtures your own virtue and helps you flourish. Consider how being around generous, kind-hearted people naturally encourages you to act with more generosity and kindness yourself. On the other hand, spending time with negative or toxic individuals can pull you into patterns of behavior that undermine your well-being and principles. For example, if you surround yourself with those who constantly complain or blame others, you might find yourself adopting similar habits which can hinder your progress toward a virtuous and intentional life. Conversely, a friend who approaches challenges with calmness and rationality may inspire you to cultivate those same qualities in your own life. The Stoics also emphasize the role of mentors in fostering personal growth. A virtuous mentor not only provides valuable guidance but also serves as a living example of the principles you aspire to embody. For instance, having a mentor who demonstrates patience and humility in the face of adversity can teach you how to navigate your own challenges with grace and integrity. This relationship is not about seeking perfection in others, but about learning from their strengths and gaining insights into how you can cultivate similar virtues. Choosing the right companions requires discernment and self-awareness. Reflect on the values you wish to prioritize and evaluate whether the people in your life support those values. This does not mean cutting ties with anyone who falls short of your ideals, but rather being mindful of how much influence they have on your thoughts and actions. You can still treat others with kindness and respect while setting boundaries to protect your mental and emotional well-being. For example, if a colleague frequently engages in gossip, you can choose to steer conversations toward more constructive topics without causing conflict. Building relationships with virtuous individuals goes beyond personal gain. It also inspires mutual growth and contribution to the greater good. When you surround yourself with people who strive to live ethically, you collectively create a ripple effect that benefits not just your immediate circle but also the broader community. Imagine being part of a group that volunteers together, discusses meaningful ideas, or supports one another in pursuing worthy goals. Such connections amplify your efforts to live a purposeful and principled life while fostering a shared sense of fulfillment. It is important to remember that relationships are a two-way street. Just as you seek out virtuous companions, strive to be a virtuous companion yourself. Reflect on how your actions and attitudes impact those around you and take responsibility for encouraging growth in others. By embodying qualities like honesty, kindness, and perseverance, you not only strengthen your own character but also set an example that inspires others to do the same. Ultimately, the 31st rule reminds us that our environment plays a critical role in shaping who we are. By intentionally surrounding yourself with virtuous people, you align your life with the Stoic ideals of growth, connection, and purpose. As we move forward to the 32nd rule, we will delve into the profound Stoic lesson of overcoming the fear of failure and how it can unlock new opportunities for growth and resilience. Now turning to the 32nd rule, we explore the Stoic wisdom of not being afraid of failure. Failure, in the eyes of Stoicism, is not something to dread or avoid at all costs. It is an inevitable and essential part of the human experience. The Stoics believed that failure is not a reflection of your worth or ability, but rather a natural step on the path to growth and self-improvement. By reframing failure as a teacher instead of an obstacle, you can begin to see it as a source of valuable lessons and opportunities for progress. Consider this: when a child is learning to walk, they stumble and fall countless times before taking their first confident steps. Each fall is not a reason to give up but a chance to adjust, strengthen, and try again. Similarly, in your own life, every failure holds the potential to reveal areas for improvement and build resilience. For instance, if you make a mistake at work, rather than dwelling on feelings of inadequacy, you can analyze what went wrong, identify the underlying cause, and use that knowledge to perform better in the future. This mindset transforms moments of failure into stepping stones toward success. The Stoics also taught that fearing failure often leads to inaction. When you avoid taking risks because you are afraid of failing, you limit your potential for growth and achievement. Imagine an artist who never shares their work out of fear that it will be criticized or rejected. By doing so, they deny themselves the chance to refine their craft, connect with others, and experience the joy of creative expression. The Stoic approach encourages you to act with courage and accept that failure is simply part of the process. The key is to focus on what is within your control, your effort, preparation, and attitude rather than fixating on outcomes that may not align with your hopes. Another crucial lesson is to detach your identity from the notion of success or failure. The Stoics believed that your worth is determined by your character and the virtues you practice, not by external results. Whether you succeed or fail, the measure of your value lies in how you respond. Do you face setbacks with resilience and a willingness to learn, or do you let them define and discourage you? For example, if you do not achieve a personal goal, such as learning a new skill or improving your health, the failure does not diminish your value as a person. Instead, it provides feedback, showing you where adjustments can be made for better outcomes in the future. One practical way to embrace this principle is to view challenges as experiments rather than tests of your ability. When you approach a new project, relationship, or responsibility with a mindset of curiosity and exploration, failure becomes less intimidating. Instead of fearing that you will fall short, you begin to ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" This perspective not only reduces the pressure to succeed, but also opens the door to discovering unexpected possibilities and insights. The 30-second rule invites you to release the fear that holds you back and to see failure as a necessary and valuable part of life. By welcoming failure with open arms, you cultivate the strength and wisdom to grow beyond your current limitations. As we move forward to the 33rd rule, we will discuss the importance of aligning your actions with your words and how this principle reinforces integrity and trust in your personal journey. Now turning to the 33rd rule, we delve into the significance of aligning your actions with your words, a cornerstone of Stoic integrity. The Stoics believed that true character is demonstrated not by what we say, but by how consistently our actions reflect our principles. When your deeds are in harmony with your words, you embody trustworthiness and cultivate a sense of inner coherence that strengthens your moral foundation. This alignment is not just about perception from others. It is about living authentically and holding yourself accountable to the values you profess. Imagine someone who frequently talks about the importance of kindness but then acts dismissively toward others. Their words lose meaning because their actions contradict their stated principles. On the other hand, consider someone who quietly supports their community through small yet consistent acts of generosity, even without broadcasting their intentions. Their integrity shines through their behavior, building trust and respect naturally. This is the essence of aligning actions with words, choosing to live in a way that speaks louder than any declaration. The Stoic perspective encourages you to view life as a stage where your actions are the true performance of your character. They understood that it is not the speeches or promises we make that define us, but the choices we make when faced with real-life situations. For example, if you value honesty, this means not just avoiding lies but also speaking the truth when it matters, even if doing so is uncomfortable. Similarly, if you believe in the virtue of patience, it is shown not by claiming to be patient but by practicing restraint during moments of frustration or delay. Another important aspect of this rule is the discipline it requires. It involves constant self-awareness and effort to ensure that your intentions and actions align. This consistency is what builds trust not only with others but with yourself. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you develop confidence in your ability to uphold your principles, and this fosters a stronger sense of self-respect. For instance, if you promise a friend that you will support them in a time of need, following through on that promise reinforces your reliability. Breaking that promise, however, weakens both the relationship and your own sense of integrity. One practical way to apply this rule is through regular reflection. At the end of each day, you can pause and ask yourself whether your actions during the day aligned with the values and beliefs you hold dear. Did you make choices that reflected your principles? Were there moments where your behavior fell short of your intentions? By honestly assessing these questions, you can identify areas for improvement and set a clearer course for tomorrow. Living with integrity also means being mindful of overpromising. The Stoics advised caution against saying things merely to please others or make ourselves look good, as it can lead to commitments we may not be able to keep. Instead, they championed honesty and humility, suggesting that it is better to promise less and deliver more. This approach not only prevents unnecessary stress, but also ensures that when you do speak, your words carry the weight of reliable action. The 33rd rule reminds us that integrity is not just a trait but a daily practice. Aligning your actions with your words builds a life of authenticity, strengthens relationships, and fosters a deeper sense of purpose. As we transition to the 34th rule, we will dive into the Stoic teaching of avoiding external rewards and how this principle shifts the focus to intrinsic virtue as the ultimate source of fulfillment. Now turning to the 34th rule, we explore the Stoic teaching of not seeking external rewards and focusing instead on doing good for its own sake. At the heart of this principle lies the idea that true virtue and fulfillment come from acting with integrity and purpose, rather than being motivated by recognition, praise, or material gain. The Stoics believed that our actions should stem from a sincere commitment to what is right, regardless of whether they are acknowledged or rewarded by others. This mindset frees us from the constant pursuit of external validation and allows us to act from a place of authenticity and moral clarity. Consider the example of helping a friend in need. If your motivation is purely to gain their approval or to be seen as generous by others, your actions lose their genuine value. However, when you assist them simply because it is the right thing to do, your virtue becomes its own reward. This approach not only deepens your sense of integrity, but also liberates you from the pressures of seeking external affirmation. The Stoics taught that virtue is inherently fulfilling because it aligns us with our higher purpose and strengthens our character. Another key benefit of avoiding external rewards is the resilience it cultivates. When we detach our sense of worth from the reactions or approval of others, we become less vulnerable to disappointment or criticism. For instance, if you dedicate yourself to a meaningful project, your satisfaction should arise from the effort and dedication you put into it, not from whether others applaud your work. The Stoics would argue that this internal source of fulfillment is far more enduring and empowering than fleeting external praise. To practice this rule, focus on the intrinsic value of your actions. Before making a decision, ask yourself, am I acting out of a desire for recognition or because I truly believe this is the right thing to do? Reflecting on your motives can help you align your actions with your values and ensure that you are not influenced by external temptations. For example, if you volunteer your time for a cause, let your motivation be the positive impact you can make, rather than the acknowledgement you might receive. This principle also encourages humility. By letting go of the need for recognition, we shift the focus away from ourselves and toward the greater good. The Stoics remind us that we are part of a larger whole, and our contributions, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect when they are made with sincerity and purpose. This perspective allows us to find joy in the act of doing good itself, rather than in any reward or acknowledgement that might follow. The 34th rule teaches us that the pursuit of external rewards often leads to dissatisfaction, as such rewards are beyond our control and never guarantee lasting happiness. By instead prioritizing the intrinsic value of our actions, we foster a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that does not depend on outside forces. As we move forward to the 35th rule, we will highlight the Stoic notion of embracing silence as a strength and its role in cultivating focus, understanding, and tranquility. Now turning to the 35th rule, we delve into the Stoic teaching of embracing silence as a strength. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, silence becomes a rare yet powerful tool for cultivating inner peace and clarity. The Stoics believed that silence is not merely the absence of words but a deliberate pause that allows us to reflect, understand, and connect more deeply with ourselves and others. By embracing silence, we create space for thoughtful communication and foster a calm, focused mind. Consider the power of silence in conversations. Often, people feel compelled to fill every moment with words, but the Stoics would encourage us to pause and truly listen instead. By resisting the urge to speak impulsively, we can respond with greater wisdom and intention. For example, in a heated discussion, choosing silence over a quick emotional reaction allows us to approach the situation with reason and composure. This not only prevents misunderstandings but also strengthens relationships by demonstrating patience and respect for others. Furthermore, silence is a gateway to self-awareness. When we step away from the constant chatter of everyday life and embrace moments of quiet, we gain a deeper understanding of our thoughts and emotions. This practice helps us identify what truly matters, free from the influence of external noise. For instance, taking a few minutes each day to sit in silence can reveal insights about our priorities, guiding us toward choices that align with our core values. Silence also plays a crucial role in maintaining focus. In a world where distractions abound, the ability to concentrate is a skill that must be nurtured. By seeking out moments of stillness, we train our minds to resist the pull of interruptions and stay present in the task at hand. Whether it is dedicating time to a creative project, solving a problem, or simply reading a book, the quiet that we cultivate allows us to engage more fully and effectively. To practice this rule, begin by incorporating small pauses of silence into your daily routine. For example, before responding to a question or email, take a brief moment to reflect. In the same vein, set aside time each day to disconnect from noise, whether it is through meditation, a quiet walk in nature, or simply sitting in stillness. These practices strengthen the mind, improve focus, and foster a sense of tranquility that extends to all areas of life. The Stoics also remind us that silence is a form of humility. By speaking less and listening more, we acknowledge that we do not have all the answers and open ourselves to learning from others. This approach not only deepens our connections but also enriches our understanding of the world around us. The 35th rule teaches us that silence is not a weakness but a profound strength that empowers us to think clearly, communicate wisely, and live more intentionally. Moving forward, the 36th rule will guide us to see ourselves as part of the greater whole and explore the interconnectedness that binds us to the world and each other. Now turning to the 36th rule, we explore the Stoic belief in seeing yourself as part of the greater whole. At its core, this principle emphasizes interconnectedness, the understanding that each of us is not an isolated being but a vital part of a larger community and the natural world. The Stoics taught that recognizing this connection fosters a sense of purpose and responsibility, encouraging us to act not just for our own benefit but for the collective good. Consider how often modern life focuses on individual success, promotions, accolades, personal goals. While these pursuits have their place, the Stoics remind us that true fulfillment comes from contributing to something greater than ourselves. For example, when we lend a helping hand to a friend in need or volunteer our time to support our community, we experience a profound sense of purpose that transcends personal gain. These actions not only strengthen our bonds with others but also align with the Stoic ideal of living virtuously. The concept of interconnectedness also teaches us to view challenges differently. When faced with difficulties, it can be helpful to remember that our struggles are often shared by others. This perspective not only eases feelings of isolation but also inspires empathy and compassion. Imagine standing in a crowded forest. Though each tree appears independent, their roots are intertwined, supporting one another through the same soil. In a similar way, acknowledging our shared humanity allows us to navigate hardships with greater resilience and perspective. Furthermore, embracing this rule encourages us to respect the natural world. The Stoics believed that nature operates as one harmonious system and that humans, as part of this system, have a duty to live in harmony with it. Whether it is by conserving resources, reducing waste, or simply appreciating the beauty of the world around us, recognizing our role within nature reinforces the idea that our actions have far-reaching impact. To practice this rule, start by reflecting on how your choices and behaviors affect those around you. For instance, consider how a kind word or gesture can brighten someone's day, or how your work contributes to the well-being of others. Additionally, engage with your community, whether by joining local initiatives, supporting causes that matter to you, or simply fostering meaningful relationships. These actions deepen our connection to the larger whole and remind us that we are all part of an intricate and interdependent web. The 36th rule teaches us to shift our focus from self-centered pursuits to a broader perspective that values unity and cooperation. By seeing ourselves as part of the whole, we cultivate humility, strengthen our relationships, and live in alignment with the Stoic values of wisdom, justice, and virtue. As we move forward, the 37th rule will guide us to practice the enduring virtue of patience, a skill that allows us to weather life's uncertainties with grace and strength. Now turning to the 37th rule, we delve into the Stoic art of practicing patience. Patience, as the Stoics saw it, is not mere passive waiting but an active and deliberate endurance of challenges, delays, or hardships without yielding to frustration or despair. It is about trusting the process of life and understanding that certain outcomes unfold only with time and consistent effort. In a world driven by instant gratification, the value of patience is often overlooked, yet it remains one of the most powerful tools for navigating life's uncertainties. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. You water it, provide sunlight, and nurture it, but you cannot rush its growth. Similarly, the Stoics remind us that worthwhile endeavors, whether they are personal goals, relationships, or major life changes, require time to develop. By practicing patience, we allow things to unfold naturally without forcing or controlling the outcomes. This approach not only reduces anxiety, but also teaches us to find peace in the present moment instead of being consumed by the future. Patience also equips us to endure hardships with resilience. Life is filled with moments of struggle and adversity, and impatience often magnifies our suffering. The Stoics believed that by cultivating patience, we could face life's trials with calm and composure. For example, consider the experience of waiting for a resolution to a conflict or a difficult situation. Instead of reacting impulsively, patience allows us to pause, reflect, and respond wisely, preserving both our inner peace and our relationships. Furthermore, patience enhances our decision-making. Rushed decisions driven by impatience often lead to regret. The Stoics advocated for thoughtful consideration and timing, understanding that the right moment is just as important as the right action. Whether it is choosing a career path, resolving a personal issue, or pursuing a new opportunity, patience gives us the clarity to weigh our options and act when the time is right. To cultivate patience, start by practicing mindfulness in everyday situations. The next time you find yourself stuck in traffic, standing in a long line, or waiting for an important result, use the moment as an opportunity to breathe deeply and refocus your thoughts. Reflect on how fleeting these frustrations are in the grand scheme of life and how reacting with impatience serves no purpose. Additionally, set realistic expectations for yourself and others. Acknowledge that progress takes time and that setbacks are natural steps in the journey. Patience, as the 37th rule teaches us, is a cornerstone of Stoic practice that allows us to endure, grow, and act with wisdom. It reminds us that life's challenges are not obstacles but opportunities to strengthen our character and deepen our understanding of the world. With this timeless wisdom in mind, we move to the 38th rule, which encourages us to learn from adversity and transform life's trials into valuable lessons for growth. Moving forward to the 38th rule, we explore the profound Stoic principle of learning from adversity. The Stoics saw adversity not as a misfortune but as a necessary part of life, a teacher that shapes our character and sharpens our wisdom. They believed that hardships, no matter how painful, are opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Instead of resisting challenges, they taught us to embrace them, seeing each obstacle as a vital lesson in the school of life. Think about the most challenging periods of your life. These moments, though difficult, likely taught you lessons that shaped who you are today. Perhaps a failure pushed you to develop new skills, or a setback encouraged you to rethink your priorities. The Stoics remind us that adversity is an inevitable part of being human, but what defines us is how we respond to it. By choosing to see struggles as opportunities rather than punishments, we empower ourselves to grow and move forward. For example, imagine losing a job. While the initial experience may bring fear and uncertainty, it can also become an opportunity to reassess your goals, pursue a new career path, or develop skills you had previously neglected. Marcus Aurelius, the renowned Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about turning suffering into strength. He taught that every difficulty presents a chance to practice virtues like courage, perseverance, and patience. Adversity, when viewed through the Stoic lens, becomes not a roadblock but a stepping stone. To embody this principle in daily life, start by shifting your perspective. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can this situation help me grow? Instead of becoming consumed by frustration or despair, focus on how the experience can build your character. Journaling can also help. Write about your challenges and reflect on how you responded, what you learned, and how you can apply those lessons moving forward. Over time, this practice builds a mindset that sees value in every trial. Additionally, cultivate gratitude for adversity. While it may seem counterintuitive, thanking life for its difficulties fosters a sense of resilience and optimism. Recognize that setbacks and hardships are part of a larger process that shapes your growth. This outlook transforms obstacles into opportunities for self-discovery and improvement. The 38th rule teaches us that adversity is not just something to endure but something to embrace. It is a force that refines us, pushes us to transcend our limits, and equips us with the tools to navigate life with greater strength and understanding. With this empowering mindset, we now turn to the 39th rule, which guides us to avoid indulging in pleasure and embrace the discipline of moderation. Now turning to the 39th rule, we delve into the Stoic wisdom of avoiding overindulgence and embracing moderation as a guiding principle in life. The Stoics believed that unchecked indulgence in pleasure, whether it be in food, comfort, or material possessions, weakens our character and distracts us from what truly matters. They taught that while pleasure itself is not inherently bad, the excessive pursuit of it leads to dependency, dissatisfaction, and a loss of self-control. By practicing moderation, we maintain balance and clarity, allowing us to focus on living virtuously and purposefully. Imagine indulging in your favorite dessert every single day. Over time, what once brought joy might begin to feel routine or even excessive, leaving you less satisfied and possibly craving even more. The Stoics understood this cycle and encouraged us to avoid becoming enslaved to fleeting pleasures. They saw discipline as the path to freedom, a freedom from desires that control us and freedom to appreciate life's simple, genuine joys without being consumed by them. To apply this principle, start by intentionally moderating areas of excess in your daily life. Choose one habit, perhaps scrolling endlessly on social media, eating beyond hunger, or spending impulsively, and commit to scaling it back. Reflect on how this restraint affects your mood, focus, and overall well-being. Do you feel more in control, more content? Moderation, as the Stoics taught, is not about deprivation but about reclaiming balance and strengthening your willpower. Consider the words of Epictetus, who reminded us to practice saying no to small temptations as preparation for resisting greater ones. He believed that this discipline not only preserves our freedom but also sharpens our self-awareness. By saying no to impulses that do not serve us, we train ourselves to act from a place of intention rather than habit or desire. Additionally, practice gratitude for life's simple pleasures. A glass of water after a long walk or a quiet evening with loved ones are moments that often go unnoticed when we are endlessly chasing the next thrill. By appreciating these modest joys, we deepen our sense of fulfillment and become less reliant on external pleasures to feel content. The 39th rule reminds us that moderation is a cornerstone of a meaningful life. It teaches us to enjoy pleasures without being owned by them, to savor simplicity over excess, and to find lasting satisfaction in self-mastery. With this insight, we now move forward to the 40th rule, which explores the transformative strength found in embracing discomfort. Now turning to the 40th rule, we focus on the Stoic practice of embracing discomfort as a path to resilience and deeper appreciation for comfort. The Stoics believed that avoiding discomfort at all costs weakens our fortitude and reduces our ability to cope with life's inevitable challenges. They taught that by purposefully stepping outside our comfort zones, we build the mental and emotional strength needed to face adversity with grace and composure. Discomfort, rather than being an enemy to avoid, becomes a powerful teacher and a tool for growth. Consider something as simple as taking a cold shower. While unpleasant in the moment, this small act trains your mind to endure discomfort without panicking or giving in to the urge to quit. Over time, these small exercises in resilience prepare you for greater challenges, helping you remain steady and composed when life becomes uncertain or demanding. The Stoics often used physical tests like enduring hunger, cold, or fatigue as a way to cultivate inner strength and remind themselves of their capability to persevere. Embracing discomfort also deepens your gratitude for the moments of ease and comfort in your life. For example, fasting for a day might make you savor your next meal in a way you never had before. Walking instead of driving on a cold morning might help you appreciate the warmth of your home more profoundly. The Stoics recognized that experiencing occasional discomfort heightens our awareness of life's simple blessings, making us less likely to take them for granted. To incorporate this principle into your daily life, begin by identifying an area where you tend to seek constant comfort. It could be always choosing the easiest option, avoiding challenges that make you nervous, or indulging in conveniences that shield you from effort. Then, intentionally introduce small doses of discomfort into your routine. This might mean waking up earlier than usual, holding off on unnecessary purchases, or trying a physically demanding activity. As you practice, notice how you handle these moments of discomfort. Do you feel stronger, more in control, or more appreciative of the comforts you return to? The philosopher Seneca often advised practicing voluntary discomfort. He suggested doing things like wearing simple clothing or eating basic food for a set period as a way to prepare for life's uncertainties and to remind ourselves how little we truly need to be content. This practice is not about self-punishment, but about training the mind to remain calm and steady in the face of hardship. It is a way to embrace strength over fear of discomfort. Ultimately, discomfort is a tool that shapes our character. By embracing it with intention, we cultivate resilience, gratitude, and the courage to meet life's challenges head-on. With this perspective, the 40th rule reminds us that the path to growth and tranquility often runs through discomfort, not around it. Carrying this lesson forward, we now turn to the 41st rule, which focuses on shifting our attention from problems to solutions. Now turning to the 41st rule, we highlight the importance of focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. The Stoics understood that while challenges and setbacks are inevitable, our response to them is what truly defines the outcome. When we fixate on problems, we become trapped in a cycle of worry and frustration, which drains our energy and clouds our judgment. Shifting our attention to solutions, however, empowers us to take meaningful action and make progress. Consider a common scenario: facing a tight deadline at work. Dwelling on how little time is left or bemoaning the complexity of the task only heightens stress and delays progress. Instead, adopting a solution-focused mindset might involve breaking the task into smaller, manageable steps, prioritizing what needs to be done first, and calmly working through each component. By redirecting your energy toward what you can do rather than what feels overwhelming, you not only stay productive but also maintain a sense of control and clarity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus often reminded his students to accept what has happened and turn their efforts toward what can be improved. For example, imagine losing your wallet. While it is natural to feel frustrated, staying absorbed in thoughts of frustration or regret does not bring the wallet back. Instead, thinking calmly about the next steps, canceling your cards, retracing your steps, or seeking assistance makes the situation more manageable and brings you closer to a resolution. Focusing on solutions requires us to ask constructive questions. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" shift the question to, "What can I do to make this better?" This simple change in perspective reminds us that the power lies in our ability to act, not in wishing away the problem. It is a reminder that our actions, however small, can gradually turn the tide in our favor. Additionally, cultivating this mindset doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. On the contrary, it means acknowledging challenges objectively and then taking deliberate, thoughtful steps to address them. This approach prevents us from becoming paralyzed by fear or negativity and encourages a proactive attitude toward life's hurdles. To incorporate this rule into your own life, begin by observing your reactions to challenges. Do you find yourself fixating on the negatives, or are you naturally inclined to think of possible solutions? Practice catching yourself in moments of frustration and consciously shift your focus. For instance, if a plan falls apart, resist the urge to lament what went wrong and instead think about how to adapt and move forward. Over time, this habit of solution-oriented thinking becomes second nature, enabling you to navigate challenges with resilience and confidence. The Stoics viewed obstacles not as insurmountable roadblocks, but as opportunities to exercise creativity, resourcefulness, and perseverance. They believed that every challenge contains the seed of a solution, if only we approach it with the right mindset. By focusing on solutions, we free ourselves from the weight of unnecessary worry and transform difficulties into stepping stones for growth. Carrying this empowering perspective forward, we now turn to the 42nd rule, which emphasizes avoiding dependency on external things to find true contentment within ourselves. Moving forward, we arrive at the 42nd rule, which encourages us to avoid dependency on external things and instead seek contentment within ourselves. The Stoics believed that true happiness and peace come from within, not from the fleeting or uncontrollable aspects of the external world. Depending on material possessions, social status, or the approval of others for our sense of well-being places our happiness in the hands of factors beyond our control. This dependency often leads to disappointment, anxiety, and a constant chase for more. Consider this: imagine someone who bases their self-worth entirely on their career achievements. While success can be fulfilling, tying one's identity to external markers like promotions or accolades creates a fragile foundation for happiness. The moment things do not go as planned, a missed opportunity or an unexpected setback, their sense of value may crumble. On the other hand, someone who cultivates inner contentment by focusing on their growth, virtues, and effort remains steady regardless of external outcomes. They understand that material or external gains are bonuses, not necessities for a fulfilling life. The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us that wealth and possessions can be lost in an instant, while the richness of the soul, our character, wisdom, and inner peace is impervious to external circumstances. For example, you may own a beautiful home or enjoy the admiration of others, but these things can disappear through circumstances beyond your control. However, if your sense of fulfillment is rooted in gratitude, resilience, and living in harmony with your values, you carry your contentment with you regardless of what changes around you. Avoiding dependency on external things does not mean rejecting or avoiding enjoyment in life. Instead, it means developing a mindset of appreciation without attachment. Picture enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning. Instead of viewing it as something you need to function or be happy, see it as a pleasant addition to your day. If for any reason that coffee is unavailable, your peace remains intact because it is not dependent on the coffee, but rather on your ability to adapt and find joy in other aspects of life. To embrace this rule, begin by identifying areas in your life where you might be overly reliant on external factors for your happiness. Do you feel uneasy without your phone? Do you find your mood heavily influenced by the opinions of others? Once you recognize these dependencies, work on gradually detaching from them. For instance, if you notice you often seek validation from others, practice affirming your own worth through self-reflection and setting personal benchmarks for success. If you find yourself overly reliant on material possessions, try simplifying certain aspects of your life and focusing on the intangible joys of connection, learning, or creativity. The Stoics taught that while we cannot control the changing tides of fortune, we can control how we navigate them. By letting go of dependency on external things, we allow ourselves the freedom to live with greater stability and inner peace. This practice not only makes us more resilient during life's challenges, but also enables us to enjoy external blessings without the fear of losing them. With this empowering mindset in place, we now turn to the 43rd rule, which urges us to act with courage in the face of fear and uncertainty. Now turning to the 43rd rule, we explore the virtue of acting with courage in the face of fear and uncertainty. Courage, as the Stoics saw it, is not the absence of fear but the ability to move forward despite it. Life is full of challenges that can intimidate or paralyze us, whether it is making a tough decision, standing up for what is right, or venturing into the unknown. The Stoic approach to courage teaches us to face these moments with steady resolve, guided by our principles rather than succumbing to fear. Imagine you have been offered an opportunity that requires stepping far outside of your comfort zone, such as starting a new career, moving to a different place, or taking on a leadership role. The fear of failure or judgment might tempt you to avoid the risk altogether. However, the Stoics remind us that courage is found in taking action despite the uncertainties. They believe that the discomfort of fear is temporary, but the regret of not acting in alignment with our values or potential can linger far longer. Taking that leap, even if the outcome is uncertain, is an exercise in courage, a reflection of choosing growth over stagnation. The philosopher Epictetus often emphasized that fear arises not from the event itself, but from how we perceive it. For example, speaking in front of an audience may seem terrifying to some because they focus on the possibility of embarrassing themselves. But if you shift your perspective to view it as an opportunity to share ideas and connect, the fear loses its power. The Stoics encourage us to reframe our fears in a way that enables us to approach them with strength and clarity. Courage also involves standing firm in our values, even when doing so is challenging or unpopular. Picture a scenario where a friend or colleague behaves unethically, and you are faced with the decision to remain silent or speak up. The easier path might be to say nothing out of fear of conflict, but the courageous choice would be to address the issue in a respectful and honest manner. This type of moral courage is at the heart of Stoic virtue. It is about doing what is right, even when it demands personal sacrifice or discomfort. To cultivate courage in your own life, start by identifying moments where fear or hesitation holds you back. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen if I take this step? More importantly, what could I gain, or what values might I honor by moving forward? Break the challenge into smaller, manageable actions if it feels too overwhelming all at once. For instance, if you fear public speaking, begin by discussing your ideas in smaller groups or practicing in front of a trusted friend. Each small act of courage builds your mental and emotional resilience, preparing you for greater challenges ahead. It is also important to remember that courage is not reckless bravery. The Stoics believed in calculated risks, actions taken after careful thought and alignment with one's values. Acting courageously does not mean ignoring danger or consequences, but rather facing them with wisdom and preparedness. Through courage, we empower ourselves to live more fully, confront challenges head-on, and grow through adversity. It is this steadfastness in the face of fear that allows us to stay true to our principles and live authentically. As we reflect on the virtue of courage, we now move to the 44th rule, which emphasizes the importance of being honest with ourselves. As the next challenge unfolds, we arrive at the 44th rule, the necessity of being honest with yourself. Self-honesty is the foundation upon which growth, integrity, and resilience are built. The Stoics taught that to live a virtuous life, we must first see ourselves as we truly are, flaws, strengths, and all. Without this clarity, we risk building our lives on illusions, and illusions only crumble when tested by reality. Imagine for a moment that you are an artist striving to perfect your craft. If you cannot acknowledge the areas where your technique falls short, how can you improve? Similarly, in life, refusing to confront our weaknesses only serves to hold us back, while honest self-reflection opens the door to progress. The Stoics believed that the journey toward wisdom begins with a deep understanding of oneself. They encouraged regular introspection as a way to uncover blind spots and realign with one's core values. Being honest with yourself also means taking responsibility for your choices and actions. It can be tempting to blame circumstances or others when things go wrong, but self-honesty demands that we ask difficult questions. How did my decisions contribute to this outcome? What could I have done differently? By owning our role in life's events, we gain both the power to change and the insight to make better choices moving forward. This level of honesty requires humility. It means accepting that we are not perfect and never will be, but that does not diminish our worth. On the contrary, recognizing our imperfections is an act of strength. It shows that we value truth over ego. Think of a time when you faced feedback or criticism. Did you dismiss it outright to protect your pride, or did you pause to consider whether there was truth in it? Practicing self-honesty allows us to grow not only from our successes but also from our failures and setbacks. Another aspect of self-honesty is understanding your true motivations. Why do you pursue certain goals or make specific choices? Are they aligned with your values, or are they driven by a need for external validation or fleeting pleasure? The Stoics warned against self-deception, as it leads to pursuing things that ultimately fail to bring lasting fulfillment. By being truthful about what genuinely matters to us, we can focus our energy on what brings purpose and meaning to our lives. Practical tools like journaling, meditation, or simply setting aside time for quiet reflection can help you cultivate honesty with yourself. At the end of each day, ask, did I live in alignment with my values today? Where did I fall short, and how can I do better tomorrow? This practice is not about self-criticism, but about striving for continuous improvement with compassion and patience. Self-honesty is not always easy. It requires courage to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves, but it is only by doing so that we can grow into the best versions of ourselves. As we embrace this principle, we strengthen our character, deepen our understanding, and lay the groundwork for a life rooted in authenticity and virtue. Now turning to the 45th rule, we explore the Stoic idea of accepting responsibility for others and fulfilling our obligations toward the greater good. Now turning to the 45th rule, we delve into the Stoic belief in accepting responsibility for others. At the heart of Stoicism lies the understanding that we are all interconnected, part of a greater whole. This principle goes beyond the self, extending our focus to the welfare of those around us and the community at large. The Stoics believed that a virtuous life involves not just personal growth, but also a commitment to contributing positively to the world we share. Imagine being part of a garden. While each plant grows individually, the health of one influences the others, whether through shared soil, sunlight, or water. Similarly, our actions or inactions impact those around us, and the choices we make ripple outward in ways we might not immediately see. The Stoics encouraged us to take ownership of these ripples, reminding us that living virtuously is not just about improving ourselves, but also about uplifting others. Accepting responsibility for others does not mean overextending ourselves or sacrificing our well-being to please everyone. Instead, it is about recognizing the moral obligations we have toward our family, friends, neighbors, and even strangers. This could involve offering support in times of need, standing up for what is just, or simply treating others with kindness and respect. The Stoics emphasize that these actions should not be driven by a desire for recognition, but by our inner commitment to doing what is right. Consider how small acts of responsibility can create profound impacts. Helping a colleague with a challenging task, listening patiently to someone who needs to be heard, or lending a hand to a neighbor may seem minor, yet they contribute to the fabric of a harmonious society. Each act of responsibility strengthens the bonds that connect us, making the world a better place not just for others but also for ourselves. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius often spoke of our shared humanity, urging us to see ourselves as part of a larger community. By accepting responsibility for others, we align our actions with this higher sense of purpose. It reminds us that living a meaningful life is not solely about personal achievements, but also about our role in creating a legacy of goodness and virtue. This mindset also teaches us to approach our interactions with patience and empathy. When someone makes a mistake or acts out of anger, accepting responsibility means responding with understanding rather than judgment. It is recognizing that we, too, are fallible, and that extending grace to others mirrors the grace we hope to receive when we falter. Practical ways to embrace this rule include volunteering for causes you believe in, mentoring someone who could benefit from your guidance, or simply being a source of encouragement in someone's life. Ask yourself, what can I do today to lighten someone else's burden? How can I use my strengths to make a positive difference? These questions shift our focus outward, cultivating a life rooted in service and connection. Accepting responsibility for others may seem daunting, but it is a path that enriches both the giver and the receiver. As we take steps to fulfill our moral obligations, we contribute to a shared sense of well-being and harmony. In doing so, we embody the Stoic ideal of living not just for ourselves but as integral parts of a greater whole. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we move to the 46th rule, the pursuit of continuous knowledge and the Stoic commitment to lifelong learning. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we arrive at the 46th rule, pursue knowledge continuously. For the Stoics, the pursuit of wisdom was not just an occasional effort but a lifelong mission. They believed that true growth comes from constantly expanding our understanding of the world, ourselves, and our place within it. This commitment to learning is not about accumulating information for the sake of pride or superiority, but about deepening our ability to live virtuously and navigate life with clarity and purpose. Imagine your mind as a flame. Every piece of knowledge, every new insight is like fuel for that flame, keeping it burning brightly and illuminating the path ahead. The Stoics believed in nurturing this inner light through study, reflection, and meaningful experiences. They saw knowledge not as a destination but as an ongoing journey, where every step brings us closer to living in alignment with nature and reason. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, often reflected on his own learning process. Despite his immense power and influence, he remained humble in his quest for wisdom, constantly seeking lessons from the world around him. He reminds us that no matter how much we know, there is always more to learn. This humility is a cornerstone of the Stoic approach to knowledge, a recognition that true wisdom lies in acknowledging our limitations and striving to overcome them. To pursue knowledge continuously, the Stoics encouraged turning to sources of wisdom that withstand the test of time. This includes studying philosophy, literature, history, science, or any discipline that enriches our understanding of life. They also valued learning from others, whether through thoughtful conversations, listening to diverse perspectives, or observing the actions of those we admire. Every interaction, every experience holds the potential to teach us something valuable if we approach it with an open mind. But knowledge is not only found in books or formal education. The Stoics also emphasized learning through experience. Life itself is one of the greatest teachers, offering lessons in resilience, patience, and adaptability. Each challenge we face, every success and failure, provides an opportunity to grow wiser. The key is to reflect on these experiences, extracting insights that can guide us moving forward. The pursuit of knowledge also involves questioning assumptions and seeking truth, even when it is uncomfortable. It means cultivating a mindset of curiosity, where we are eager to explore new ideas and challenge our own beliefs. This intellectual courage is essential for personal growth and aligns with the Stoic ideal of living with integrity and authenticity. Practical ways to embrace this rule might include dedicating time each day to reading or learning something new, setting goals to develop skills or expertise in a specific area, or simply engaging in thoughtful discussions that broaden your perspective. Journaling can also be a powerful tool for clarifying your thoughts and capturing the lessons life has to offer. Ask yourself each evening, what did I learn today? How can this knowledge help me become a better person tomorrow? By committing to lifelong learning, we honor the Stoic ideal of self-improvement. We recognize that the pursuit of wisdom is not about perfection but about progress, a continuous effort to grow into the best version of ourselves. As we fuel our minds with knowledge, we equip ourselves to face life's challenges with reason and resilience, embodying the Stoic belief that wisdom is the ultimate guide to a fulfilling life. Carrying this sense of intellectual curiosity, we now move to the 47th rule, letting go of regret and focusing on better choices for the future. Now turning to the 47th rule, we delve into the Stoic principle of not dwelling on regret and instead focusing on making better choices for the future. Regret, while a natural human emotion stemming from past mistakes or missed opportunities, serves little purpose if it paralyzes us or weighs us down. The Stoics believed that holding on to regret is like carrying an unnecessary burden that hinders our ability to move forward. Instead, they taught us to confront our past actions with honesty, acknowledge what went wrong, and then release those feelings to redirect our energy toward improvement. To understand this concept, think of regret as looking at spilled water on the ground. No matter how long you stare or wish otherwise, the water cannot return to the glass. The Stoic approach is to shift our focus to cleaning up the mess, learning why the spill happened, and ensuring it does not occur again. This mindset transforms regret from a source of pain into a catalyst for growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us to focus on actions we can take here and now, not on what is already beyond our reach. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, This profound statement emphasizes that dwelling on the past distracts us from becoming the person we aspire to be today. The key is to recognize that the past cannot be changed, but the present holds infinite possibilities for making better decisions. The Stoics also highlighted the importance of forgiving ourselves. Mistakes are inevitable because we are imperfect beings. The goal is not to avoid every misstep, but to handle them with grace and wisdom. Self-forgiveness is not about justifying poor choices, but about accepting them as part of our journey and using them as lessons for the road ahead. By doing this, we free ourselves from the chains of regret and create space for meaningful progress. To let go of regret effectively, the Stoics encouraged reflection. This does not mean obsessing over the past, but calmly analyzing what went wrong and why. Ask yourself, what lesson can I take from this experience? How can I act differently if faced with a similar situation? Once these insights are clear, take action to correct course. For example, if a decision negatively impacted someone else, a sincere apology and effort to make amends can help restore balance and demonstrate your commitment to growth. Another significant aspect of overcoming regret is focusing on what lies within our control. We cannot undo the past, but we can control how we respond to it. Instead of wishing for a different outcome, channel your energy into actions that align with your values and goals moving forward. This redirection shifts the narrative from being stuck in regret to actively shaping a better future. Practical steps to embrace this rule include daily reflection, where you identify one thing you could have done better and map out a plan to improve. Practice self-compassion by reminding yourself that regret is a sign of awareness, which is the first step toward change. Surround yourself with supportive individuals who inspire growth and help you see challenges as opportunities rather than limitations. By not dwelling on regret, we embody the Stoic ideal of resilience and responsibility. We accept the unchangeable past while taking ownership of the choices we can make today. In doing so, we transform regret from a source of suffering into a tool for self-improvement. With this mindset, we empower ourselves to progress with purpose and clarity. Moving forward, let us explore the 48th rule, avoiding attachment to outcomes and embracing the process instead. Moving forward, let us explore the 48th rule, avoiding attachment to outcomes and embracing the process instead. The Stoics taught that true fulfillment comes not from the results we achieve, but from the integrity and effort we bring to our actions. By attaching ourselves to outcomes, we surrender our inner peace to factors beyond our control, inviting disappointment and frustration when things do not go as planned. Instead, Stoic wisdom encourages us to focus on what is within our power, our intentions and efforts. Consider this: imagine a farmer sowing seeds in a field. The farmer can control how diligently they plant and care for the crops, but they cannot control the weather or other external conditions that affect the harvest. By focusing solely on nurturing the field to the best of their ability, the farmer can find satisfaction in their effort regardless of the yield. Similarly, when we detach from outcomes and focus on virtuous action, we free ourselves from the anxiety of expectations and the fear of failure. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, famously stated, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do." This perspective shifts our mindset from being fixated on results to finding contentment in the process itself. For example, if you are preparing for an important exam or project, your goal should not solely be a perfect score or review, but rather the commitment to studying or working with focus and determination. The value lies in the effort, not just the end result. Detaching from outcomes does not mean being indifferent or lacking ambition. It means pursuing goals with enthusiasm while recognizing that the final result often depends on variables outside our control. The Stoics remind us that success is measured by how well we live according to our principles, not by the external rewards or recognition we receive. This mindset fosters resilience as it prepares us to face challenges and setbacks without losing focus or motivation. A practical way to embody this rule is by setting goals based on actions rather than results. For example, instead of aiming to win a competition, focus on refining your skills and giving your best performance. Instead of obsessing over how many people will praise your work, prioritize creating something meaningful and true to your values. By shifting your attention to what you can control, you can find joy and purpose in the journey itself. Another strategy is to regularly remind yourself of the impermanence of external rewards. Wealth, fame, success, and recognition can all be fleeting, but the virtues you cultivate, such as perseverance, honesty, and kindness, remain with you. When you focus on living virtuously, you build a foundation of inner strength and contentment that no external circumstances can shake. By avoiding attachment to outcomes, you cultivate a mindset that values effort, integrity, and virtue above all else. This approach not only reduces unnecessary stress and disappointment, but also aligns us with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature. As we let go of trying to control the uncontrollable, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. With this principle in mind, let us now turn to the 49th rule, trusting the process of life with a sense of acceptance and flow. With the next phase of the journey in sight, let us explore the 49th rule, trusting the process of life with a sense of acceptance and flow. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable. The Stoics teach us to relinquish the illusion of control over every twist and turn, instead placing trust in the unfolding of events as they come. This principle is not about blind optimism, but about understanding that while we cannot dictate how life will play out, we can choose how we respond to it. Consider the metaphor of a sailor navigating the open sea. The sailor cannot control the winds or the waves, but can adjust their sails and steer the course with skill and composure. Similarly, trusting the process of life means acknowledging that there will be calm waters and storms alike, yet remaining steady and grounded through it all. By accepting that life's uncertainties are part of the natural order, we find the courage to move forward even when the path ahead is unclear. The Stoics remind us that resistance to life's flow often leads to unnecessary suffering. When we fight against what is beyond our control, we expend energy on frustration and anxiety rather than on meaningful action. Instead, embracing life's unpredictability allows us to adapt with grace and find opportunities even in unforeseen challenges. Imagine losing a job unexpectedly. While initially disheartening, this change might lead to a new career path or personal growth you never anticipated. Trusting the process means seeing each moment, whether joyous or difficult, as part of a greater narrative that we may not fully understand yet. This mindset is deeply rooted in the Stoic acceptance of fate, or Amor Fati, which teaches us to love and embrace everything that happens as necessary and purposeful. Even in the face of hardship, the Stoic approach encourages us to ask, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I grow from this experience?" By doing so, we transform what might seem like setbacks into stepping stones towards resilience and wisdom. A practical way to cultivate this trust is through daily reflection. Take a moment each evening to review the events of the day, acknowledging both the successes and the challenges. Instead of labeling experiences as purely good or bad, view them as chapters in a larger story that continues to unfold. This practice helps shift your perspective from focusing on immediate outcomes to appreciating the journey as a whole. Another strategy is to let go of rigid expectations and embrace flexibility. Life rarely follows a straight line, and clinging to a specific plan can lead to disappointment when things do not go as envisioned. By staying open to change and trusting that each turn has its purpose, you allow yourself to flow with life rather than struggle against it. For instance, if a long-awaited opportunity falls through, trust that it may pave the way for something even more aligned with your growth. Ultimately, trusting the process of life is about finding peace in uncertainty and grounding yourself in the present moment. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles are not barriers but invitations to grow, adapt, and persevere. By embracing this mindset, we align with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature and strengthening our inner resilience. As we reflect on this principle, let it remind us that the unpredictability of life is not something to fear but something to accept with an open heart and mind. With this understanding, we now arrive at the 50th and final rule, striving for excellence in all we do while recognizing that perfection is not the goal. With the next phase of the journey in sight, we arrive at the 50th and final rule, striving for excellence in all that we do while embracing the reality that perfection is beyond reach. The Stoics teach us that true excellence lies not in achieving flawlessness, but in the unwavering commitment to grow, improve, and act with virtue in every situation. Excellence in the Stoic sense is deeply tied to living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. It is the pursuit of being the best version of ourselves, not in comparison to others but in alignment with our own potential and principles. Imagine an artist working on a painting. Each stroke of the brush may not be perfect, but the dedication to bring the vision to life is what defines excellence. Similarly, in our daily lives, it is the consistent effort to improve, learn, and contribute meaningfully that matters most. The Stoics remind us that the measure of success is not the result itself, but the integrity and diligence we bring to the process. This perspective shifts the focus from external validation to intrinsic fulfillment, empowering us to find satisfaction in the act of striving. Excellence is not an end point but a continuous journey. It requires us to approach each task, no matter how small, with care and intention. Whether it is showing kindness to a stranger, completing a work project, or nurturing a relationship, every moment presents an opportunity to practice excellence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do, and your life will go well." This wisdom teaches us that striving for excellence includes navigating challenges gracefully and making the most of the circumstances we are given. One way to integrate this principle into daily life is by setting clear intentions for your actions. Begin each day by asking, "How can I bring my best self to what I do today?" This simple reflection can help guide your efforts and keep you aligned with your values. At the same time, acknowledge that mistakes and setbacks are inevitable. Instead of being discouraged by them, view them as valuable lessons that contribute to your growth. For instance, if a project does not go as planned, take time to evaluate what could be done differently next time and use that knowledge to improve. Another key aspect of striving for excellence is understanding the importance of self-compassion. The Stoics recognize that we are all human, prone to flaws and missteps. Excellence is not about harsh self-criticism or striving for unrealistic standards, but about the ongoing practice of doing our best while accepting our imperfections. By treating ourselves with kindness and focusing on progress rather than perfection, we create a sustainable path toward continuous improvement. In this pursuit, it is also vital to celebrate small victories. Each step forward, no matter how modest, is a testament to your dedication and effort. Recognizing these moments not only boosts motivation, but also reinforces the idea that excellence is built through consistent, incremental progress. Remember, it is not about being perfect, but about showing up every day with intention and purpose. As we reflect on this final rule, let it serve as a reminder that striving for excellence is not about reaching an unattainable ideal, but about living with integrity, giving our best effort, and finding joy in the journey. By embracing this principle, we align ourselves with the Stoic vision of a life well lived, one marked by resilience, purpose, and the pursuit of virtue. So as we conclude this exploration of the 50 Stoic rules, Consider which of these principles resonates most with you and how you can begin to apply it in your life today. As we reflect on the wisdom of these 50 Stoic rules, it becomes clear that their teachings hold timeless value in guiding us toward a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. Each principle, from living in alignment with nature to embracing simplicity, offers a practical way to navigate the complexities of modern life with clarity and intention. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control external events, we always have the power to shape our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. By practicing these ideas, we can build a foundation of strength and tranquility that helps us face challenges with grace and grow from every experience. These rules are not just abstract philosophies but tools that we can actively use to improve our daily lives. Whether it is by practicing gratitude, viewing obstacles as opportunities, or striving for excellence, we are invited to take small, meaningful steps toward becoming the best version of ourselves. Imagine the profound impact of applying even just one of these principles consistently, how it could shift your mindset, improve your relationships, and bring more joy and balance into your everyday moments. Now, as we conclude this journey through Stoicism, I encourage you to reflect on which rule resonated most deeply with you. Perhaps it was the idea of focusing on what you can control, or the practice of negative visualization to build gratitude and resilience. Whichever it may be, take a moment to think about how you can integrate it into your life starting today. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights might inspire someone else to begin their own journey of growth and self-discovery. If you found value in these timeless teachings, please support this channel by liking this video, subscribing, and sharing it with others who may benefit from the wisdom of Stoicism. Together, we can create a community of individuals striving to live with greater intention, virtue, and purpose. Thank you for being part of this journey, and remember, every day is an opportunity to live better, grow stronger, and practice the art of living